happening, because what's happening here is not normal in America, not in this country. In this country, we don't have a tradition of locking up the leading political candidate 5 months before the election.
What's happening, everybody? Merry early Christmas to everyone. I myself am heading to my folks' house tonight to open presents. And in the morning, we've got more presents from Santa. Today, we have Benny Johnson on a panel on Piers Morgan Uncensored that included David Pakman and two other liberals. Benny Johnson goes on a justified tirade over the Democrats' use of lawfare against Donald Trump and calls David Pakman and the entire panel Stalinist. With that, let's watch David Pakman sit speechless as Benny Johnson roasts his woke dumbass. Let's go.
What's happening, because what's happening here is not normal in America, not in this country. In this country, we don't have a tradition of locking up the leading political candidate 5 months before the election, no matter who that candidate is or no matter what party they're part of. Not if you're a Republican, not if you're a Democrat, not if you're Green Party or Libertarian. Doesn't matter. That's not part of our tradition. That's not normal. We need to establish that. There is a tradition, however, that my fellow panelists may be part of, and that's called being a Stalinist. If you like this kind of thing, you're a Stalinist. You're a show me the man, I'll show you the crime kind of sycophant, psychotic, dictatorial tyrant. And this is the type of nature that has overtaken what used to be called the Democratic Party. Alan Dershowitz is part of it. This is Stalinism. Say it and mean it. And there's some bravery to actually admitting that you're a Stalinist. Hold on. There's bravery to admitting that you're a Stalinist because you're evil. You're an evil person.
This is your argument?
Right?
Great job. If this is your argument, you're really going to win, buddy.
Hold on. You don't care about what's true. You just care about maintaining power. And that's, I mean, it's a brave thing to admit that. I think it's morally repugnant. I think most people believe that. But you would be the same type of person who'd be celebrating in the street when Nelson Mandela got locked up. You're the same person who'd be applauding when they put Gandhi in prison. You're the same person who would be proud that MLK went to jail 27 different times.
Minor drug offenders. You're from the party that prosecutes.
Hold on.
Okay, let Benny finish, then I'll bring you in a minute.
As long as I will not interrupt you, do not interrupt me. As long as the person stands against your power, you are the kind of succubus, sycophants for power, simps for power.
You know, one of the defining characteristics of being a Stalinist is suppression of dissent. Dissent against who? Well, in the United States case, the establishment on both sides of the aisle that are desperately clinging on to the inordinate amount of power and money they've racked up since as long as I've been alive. So I don't have a clue who this chick on the panel is, but this is rich. She accuses Benny of having a weak argument, but she wants to argue that Republicans are the party of locking up folks for minor drug offenses. First of all, that has nothing to do with the topic at hand, but okay. I'd just give her some advice and say, you may want to chill on this one, honey. Your party doesn't exactly have the best reputation with regard to locking up people for minor drug offenses. Remember a little thing called the 94 Crime Bill? Championed by our then President Bill Clinton and authored by who? Joseph R. Biden. Now, what have the Republicans done? Oh, yeah, the First Step Act. That's resulted in the release of over 3,000 inmates. Oh, yeah. And even though the mean Republicans are so racist, look at this. 90% of those released were black Americans signed into law by Donald Trump. Now, don't get it twisted. There were Republicans that were all for the 94 crime bill, and I'm not running any cover for them. They're just as culpable. I'm simply stating that it's important to remember that this was a bill championed and authored by the loving, tolerant, anti-racist Democrat Party.
Who always coddle the Stalinist mantra, do anything, lock up anyone, and you'd be gathering firewood for Joan of Arc bonfires.
Okay, Benny, I have one more question for you, Benny, before I get into Mickey. It's this. I remember Donald Trump leading chants of lock her up about Hillary Clinton. Does that make him a Stalinist?
So did that happen is the question.
Yeah. He would be at rallies.
Yes.
He'd be at rallies and say, hang on.
Hillary.
My turn to say, hang on. My turn to say, hang on.
Piers.
My turn to say, hang on.
I love you, buddy. But
I've
we have free speech
I have
in this
seen
country.
video footage.
There's a lot of nasty things that have been said about, there's a lot of nasty things that Hillary said about Trump, Trump said about Hillary. Let's look at actions. I'm old enough now that I just don't care about your words. I care about your actions. The actions of a major political movement in the country right now is to lock up the leading candidate for president 5 months before an election. He's 77 years old, Piers.
I hear you.
He's been around for a long time. He's never faced a criminal charge.
I know.
Never been found guilty of anything in
Benny,
77 years of public life.
I've got to jump in.
And now they lock him up. That's called Stalinism.
Benny, I don't disagree with you, but I do want to play a clip because Trump has denied ever saying lock her up about Hillary. Here's a clip.
Crooked Hillary, crooked, you should lock her up, I'll tell you.
For what she's done, they should lock her up.
Lock her up is right.
Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Now, by your yardstick, Benny, that makes him leading Stalinist, doesn't it?
No, because I judge a man. I'm judge a man by his actions. Like, did he act on that? Did Donald Trump lay a finger?
Hey, could you do me a favor? It would really piss off these giggling morons on the panel if you liked and subscribed to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
On Hillary Clinton? Did anyone direct any special counsel to ever look into Hillary Clinton?
Well, he certainly expressed a desire to.
Sure, that's called freedom of speech. This is called playing politics. A lot of people say a lot of things in politics. Joe Biden just explained that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Okay. I do want to bring in.
A lot of people say a lot of things. That's called freedom of speech.
I want to bring in Mickey, but let me go to Alan quickly. You want to say something, Alan?
I think I'm letting the comments section get into my head too much because now I'm leery of saying things repeatedly, but this one I have to acknowledge. I always say that all the Democrats attack Donald Trump about is his words, not his actions. This is a perfect example. That's all I'll say about that. This is a little bit off topic, but it relates. Bear with me here. So why the hell don't we have term limits in Congress? Wouldn't this curb some of this behavior and maybe keep some of these scumbags out of Congress? Why is this still even a question? Now, while there are bad actors on both sides of the aisle on this term limits issue, I found something interesting in my extensive research for this video. But in all seriousness, I looked up the 10 oldest members of Congress, and among the 10 of them, they account for 8 centuries on this earth. I think it's time for them to go. But I found some interesting things, at least I found interesting. Of the top 10 oldest members of Congress, 8 of them were Democrats. Now, that's a small sample size, not indicative really of anything. However, interesting. And just a couple other quick observations for these folks that need to get the hell out of Congress. 4 of the top 10 were from, guess where? California. So if you've ever questioned if California votes tribally, there's your answer. Because I always ask, who the hell keeps electing these people? Brainwashed liberal Californians make perfect sense. So everyone on that top 10 list, including you, Chuck Grassley, get the hell out of there. You don't need to be there anymore. You've gotten the money you needed to make. We don't need you anymore. And 2 of my favorite special ladies on there, I'd love to see them stay, but they're just too old. Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters. And you'd think I'm like knocking Nancy here, but think about it. For Nancy, the benefits. Nancy, you can go somewhere now and get shit-faced on your own dime, not the taxpayers. You'll love it. You can drink your face off all day without having to hide it. Because, and I'm not trying to be mean, you're not doing a good job of keeping it a secret. At this point, you might as well have 3 morning Bloody Marys right on the House floor. We all know, Nancy, then you wouldn't have to feel the shame that you do now when you're slurping down drinks in your limo and in your office. It's 2024, baby. We're a very tolerant society. Just get the hell out of Congress. But to Benny's point, the Democrats are Stalinists. They're immoral. They stand for nothing. The right wing is far from perfect, but we are fighting a battle of good and evil here. If you're a Republican, conservative, right-leaning, or just against the left, you can feel comfortable this holiday season that you are on the side of good. And just to be very clear where I stand on what Benny said, yes, all of these 3 on the panel are behaving like Stalinists. But I want to hear what you think. Do you think there should be term limits on Congress? And if so, and I'm hoping the vast majority of you agree that there should be, but if you do agree, why the hell hasn't this thing passed so far? I guess I didn't do that good of a research not to know that, but what do you all think the solution is? Let me know. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like to watch based Republicans, conservatives, just torching dopey Democrats that don't have much to say, then click on one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. Otherwise, guys, Merry early Christmas again. I will be back tomorrow. I hope you and your family have the best holiday season. And I always say it, but I will never be able to put into words how grateful I am for anyone that watches my videos. So thank you so much. The end.